Aloha from the Father Bray Athletic Center on the campus of Iolani School in Honolulu, Hawaii. And welcome to the Iolani Prep Classic presented by the Twin Fin. Hello everybody, I'm Ian Young alongside Wes Nakama for our third game of the day featuring the St. Louis Crusaders versus the Baldwin Bears. Wes, both these schools had a tough fight opening night, and now they're here to battle it out. Maui versus Oahu. What do we have in store for this third game?
Well, anytime St. Louis plays, the price of admission is Pupu Sepulona, their 6'2 sophomore. He is, like I said, the price of admission. 27 points against Montverde. What a show he put on. Just incredible shot-making ability. He's such a fun player to watch. And Baldwin, we talked about it before the game. They had such a challenging day starting at the airport in Kahului at 6:30 in the morning, we're enduring a 6-hour delay on their flights. Poor things. So even before they got here, that was a big challenge. And then, of course, they had to face a Oregon powerhouse in Lake Oswego.
Yeah, Baldwin had a long day of travel. But they were happy to be here as all these Hawaii schools and this opportunity to play, first up against these mainland schools. You mentioned Montverde, who's the #1 team in the nation. Continuing on to this part of the tournament, where we'll see the top local teams matching up against each other. Send it down to Rudy Tulongari for the starting lineups.
For the 2022 Iolani Prep Basketball Classic. Game number 12 features the visiting St. Louis Crusaders of Honolulu, Hawaii, and the Baldwin Bears from Wailuku, Maui. Please remember that sportsmanship is important not only for the athletes and officials, but also for the spectators as well. We ask that you enjoy the game and respect the dignity of the sport by cheering for your team's success and applauding great plays. Please avoid all instances of poor sportsmanship. Also, for the safety of our student athletes, flash photography is not permitted at any time during gameplay. Mahalo for your cooperation. And now let's meet the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Crusaders, a 5'11 sophomore, number 4, Stone Kanoa. A 5'10 junior, number 15, Giovanni Ramos. A 6'1" freshman, number 23, Jordan Nunuha. 6'3" junior, number 33, Jordan Pasilai. A 6'2" sophomore, number 35, Pupu Sepulona. The Crusaders head coach, Dan Hale. And now for the home team, Baldwin Bears. A 5'8" senior, number 10, Jaquan Torres Lieber. 6'4" sophomore, number 41, Colt Yarbrough. A 6'6" senior, number 42, Avery Paole. A 6'3" junior, number 44, Trotter Apo. A 6'4" freshman, number 50, Josiah Faleafine Awai. The head coach for the Bears, Cody Tesoro. Enjoy the game.
Just about underway here in this matchup between Baldwin and St. Louis. St. Louis, the Hawaii State defending champions. Baldwin Bears coming off of a great state run in themselves. This should be a good matchup.
Yeah, this is actually a rematch of the state semifinals from last year. And, Baldwin was here a year ago for this tournament and showed some size and athleticism and, came out on the short end as far as score-wise. But we saw the potential, and sure enough, by the time the state tournament came around, they gave St. Louis a run for their money. They lost 40-32 in a very close game in that semifinal at Moanalua. So there's a lot of potential with this Baldwin team.
Ole and Sepulona set to tip it off. Sepulona wins that battle. To give the Crusaders the ball, as we are just on the way. Look inside and the pretty backdoor cut. Cepelona knows what to do with it. Look inside and on the end around, Yarbrough takes it all the way, no good. Back the other way and the pretty bounce pass. It's Ramos on the lip, and it's an early 4-0 lead for the Crusaders. Wow, away with the nice take and floater. Away with the soft touch, cutting the lead to 2. Ole almost got that steal. Inside position to Nuha. Excuse me, Posiula on that nice soft touch at the front of the rim.
Early on, you're seeing some surprising agility by the big man.
Yes.
And finesse.
On both teams.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that impressed me. Po'ole matched up with Winters Grady opening night, did all he could, but showed some versatility, able to, pick up on the perimeter. So Bologna shows that he has the inside and outside game. He'll look both for the 3 and for the drive. Really a complete player. Yarbrough avoids the contact, but his shot is no good. Back the other way. Ramos. Second effort good by Leilehua. And a quick early 6-point lead for the Crusaders. Yarbrough also a versatile player, able to pull it outside. We mentioned that his number is 41, Dirk Nowitzki's number, and he has some of the same footwork. As we see Faliafine Hawaii drawing the foul and the 2 free throw shots.
At the line for the Bears, 2 free throws. Number 50, Josiah Faliafine Hawaii.
What's Baldwin's league play looking like this year, Wes?
Good question. Lahaina Luna is always there in the mix.
Yep, and they'll battle it out. Inside post entry, deep position, and the finish that time by Posiulai. But a nice entry by Cepelona. And inside to Yarbrough, who finishes to cut the lead to 6 with 4 minutes in this opening quarter. Cepelona around Po'ole. Corner 3, no good. And Cepelona unable to hit. And we'll get our first substitutions into the game. Baldwin goes with Alex Murata, as well as Kai Shing. Pass ahead by Murata. Back to Pole with the baseline shot, which is no good. Up high for the rebound is Apo, but unable to convert. Crusaders right back. Osiula able to get that really good position, and his teammates and finding him.
And great footwork. Like you said, we talked about his surprising agility. Stayed in control. Great spin move. Strong layup to the basket.
Crusaders looking to fill the void of that terrific senior class last year. Arquette, who brought both inside and outside presence. But the Crusaders are showing that they're not going to miss a beat. Neumann controls. Again, looking inside. That time no good, but goes off the Baldwin Bear leg, and it will remain with the Crusaders.
Well, talking about big guys with agility, Sepulona, I mean, one thing he showed Friday night, which I'm sure for those who haven't seen him play before, this is a big guy that can actually step out, like he said, on the three-pointer.
Yeah.
He's got a great step-out move.
Yes.
That can create, separation and open shots for himself. You don't expect that when you look at his body type.
Okay, ball will stay with the Crusaders.
Luis Fuentes, veteran referee, veteran official, making the clear
Very
explanation.
Authoritative
there.
with that call. As we go inside. Wow, and Sepulona somehow finds a way to battle two Baldwin Bear defenders and still get that shot up with the chance for the traditional three-point play.
Well, like we talked about his shot-making ability, not just at the three-point line, but inside as well. So good around the basket.
Extends the lead to 11 points with 2 minutes and 46 seconds left in this first quarter. The quick hands there by Nunuha to Kanoa and back to Nunuha. And the Bears will take a timeout, down 13.
The Iolani Classic would like to thank title sponsor Nike for their continued support.
Good timeout here by Baldwin coach Cody Tesoro. Like we said, in this tournament, it happens very often where 10 or 12 point deficit can quickly turn into 20 or more, and you want to stop that bleeding, especially in the first quarter. You don't want the game to get away from you in these opening moments.
Baldwin staying on the campus of Iolani School. We saw them earlier today, so they're able to, come and watch games, and they are the one Hawaii team that has had to travel. And so you mentioned that long day of travel the other day for their opener.
But I think, as we saw last year, it's well worth the trip, despite the obstacles and the opposition. I think, I'm pretty sure, last year's Baldwin team learned a lot from the games they played here, and again, used those lessons throughout the MIL season, and then made a great state tournament run.
Yep. Alex Murata brings the ball across to Kai Shing, looking inside. Blake Inger, who had some nice minutes against Lake Oswego. And there's a three by Kai Shing, a much-needed three for Baldwin that cuts the lead to 10. Leilehua to Cepolona. Meacham into the game will look to drive and kick. Nice save that time by Nunuha. Over to Kanoa with a nice finish. Lead back to 12. Bears do a nice job of breaking the press. And a beautiful shot by Faliafine Awai. Turning and a soft touch. Shot is short, but there's Cepolona on the rebound. Nice challenge by the Bears. The poke from behind. Buole and a nice dish. And Murata with the finish and the foul. Cuts the lead under double digits. Chance to cut it to 7 as we wind down this first quarter.
Again, you see these bigs who are literally big, and they're showing a lot of skills. I mean,
running the break.
Small man skills, running the break.
Yeah, and Murata finishing, right?
Fast break, dime.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's really impressive. Murata unable to make the free throw, but gets his rebound. Shot is long with 42 seconds, 31 on the shot clock. Drew and Meredith into the game. Gives another big presence inside. Supolona on the nice drive and turning his body to shield from the defender. And the Crusaders get it right back. That'll do it for the first quarter. St. Louis Crusaders over the Baldwin Bears, 21-11. And we'll be back after this short message.
Heart pumping, muscles extending. Every body is a miracle. And though we share so much, everybody is unique. What's your passion? Hold on to it. We're here to help. With a personalized approach to a healthier you. Hawaii Pacific Health.
Welcome back to the Iolani Classic presented by the Twin Fin. We're in our Game 4 matchup between Baldwin and St. Louis. Almost at the halfway mark of an eight-game day here on day 3. This is the last game of our pool play, which matches up ILH schools with OIA or BIIF schools respectively. And this afternoon, we'll see the winners bracket starting after this game with Neumann Goretti taking on Lake Oswego as we're set to start the second quarter. Torres Lieber back into the game. Inside look and kick out. Kaixing unable to hit the 3, but there's Inger with the cleanup. Draws 2 shots. Foul assessed to Pupu Cepolona. And back into the game comes Jordan Lai, who's been a force, an absolute force around the basket and helping the Crusaders to extend this 10-point lead. Free throw's no good. Rebound, Falafine Awai. Who's no good on the three. So the game for St. Louis is Brevin Afalia, 6'2" sophomore. As Coach Dan Hale calls timeout.
30-second timeout, St. Louis.
West, this St. Louis Crusader team ranked third in the state. We've seen Leilehua earlier today. We've seen Punahou, Kamehameha, Leilehua. So these really are some of the top teams in the state.
Yeah, not just the top teams, but some of the top coaches.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, Dan Hale here, he won, as we mentioned in earlier today, a state championship with Punahou back in 2008. And interesting sequence right here early in the second period. 19 seconds in, Sepulona picks up his first foul. He comes out.
Yeah, Mike.
And then here we are 43 seconds in, and then Dan Hale calls a 30 seconds timeout. Obviously, he's seeing things that he wasn't quite satisfied with, even with the 10-point lead.
Coach Hale looking to preserve that 10-point lead. Crusaders drive by Meacham, denied by Puole, but not without contact, and so that'll send Puole to the line for two. Puole trying to plead his case that it was clean up top.
He did actually a not bad job of getting decent defensive position and staying in front of his man. Like you said, he just caught a little bit of his arm.
Yeah.
But great job getting defensive position at least.
Meacham knocks on the free throw. Puole no good. Rebound. Apo. Kick out Torres Lever, no good on the three, but Baldwin will keep the ball. Wow, and they're really crashing the boards. Apo on the second chance, but denied. That time by Meredith. Ball will stay with the Bears.
Osiolai looks like he lost his contact lens, had to come out of the game.
Inside look, Ole no good. Palafina Y active on the boards and is fouled in the shot attempt. And I think Sepulona may have picked up his second as which might explain him coming out of the game. And so this might be an opportunity for Baldwin.
That would definitely be a reason to take him out. 19 seconds into the quarter.
Olafin away hits one of two as we see Yarbrough. Yarbrough checks back into the game. Baldwin looking to pick up full court. Agliam, and the turnover by the Crusaders gives it back to the Bears. Stone Kanoa back into the game, replacing Ramos.
Yeah, Ramos, a little bit too much mustard on that fastball there. His teammate is only 8 feet away.
Yeah.
He threw him a zinger.
Yeah. Wow, and another block that time by Meredith. Torres lever to Apo, who hits the 3. And brings the Bears within 7 with 5 minutes and 40 seconds in this first half. Meredith back to Falia. 14 on the shot clock. Afalia looks to create. And before the shot, let's see what we have. We got a moving pick, I believe, by Adrian Meredith.
Meredith, a 6'3" freshman.
Yes.
Another big body in there.
We've seen some great freshmen. Watson, who we just saw play for Kamehameha. We'll see one of the top freshmen in the country tonight with Millennium, Cameron Holmes. Pull-up jumper, no good, but recovered by Agliam. Out to Nuha. And a reset of the shot clock. Look inside. Kosi Ulai, who's been very successful, that time is denied by Paole. And the ball goes to the Bears, down 5.
Great defense by Paole right there.
Yeah, the
His
timing,
arm,
right?
Yeah, and his arm straight out. He didn't come down with that arm, which is usually how you draw the foul, but he went straight up, got the block.
Rebound secured by Nunuha. Up the court, Agliam looks to set up. Crusaders showing patience. Baldwin. Bringing the shot clock down to 5 seconds as the clock winds down. The shot is no good. The push ahead to Apo. And Apo will convert, which makes the lead 3. And an immediate timeout from Coach Dan Hale. With 3:38 left in this first half. And that's the run that the Bears needed to get back into this game.
Yeah, as we said early in the first quarter, Cody Tesoro, Baldwin's head coach, calling that timeout when they got down 13, wanted to stop the bleeding, and it worked.
It did.
And they made a run here in the second period, especially with Cepelon on the bench for St. Louis, and Apo giving them a big lift with a 3-pointer from the top of the key, and then following the fast break transition layup. All of a sudden, it's a 3-point game, 1 possession. And I think give credit to the Baldwin defense. You know, it was 21-11 going into the second period. They've only given up 1 basket in the first 4 minutes and 22 seconds. Moving their feet, staying in position.
The big question will be whether or not Cepelona comes back into the game, into this first half, or whether Coach Hale will hold him for the second.
Coach Hale was not very happy with his squad during the last time out, being very vocal.
Crusaders turn the ball over. Baldwin quickly back the other way. And the beautiful footwork for Torres Lieber. To make it a 1-point game. Blake Inger back into the game. Gives Pa'ole a rest, a well-deserved rest. And that shot is blocked. Faleafine away. And like you said, this Bear defense has really stepped up the intensity.
Oh, great job again by Faleafine away. I mean, keeping his position, getting his hand on the ball without fouling. That's the key. You know, being really smart about how they play defense.
Only 2 team fouls for the Baldwin Bears this half to St. Louis's 6. And we have our referees conferencing to determine the alternate possession. It will stay with the Crusaders. And discussion also to set the shot clock, which will be set at 31 seconds. Something new for these Hawaii players to deal with this shot clock element.
And not just the players, but like you said, the officials and the scorekeepers and the support staff. It's not as simple all the time as just pushing a button every 35 seconds.
Pump fake and the beautiful one dribble hit by Stone Kanoa. And then the immediate steal and convert for Ramos. Wow.
Just like that, back to 5 points.
Yeah, just when you think Baldwin, they're clawing back, and a quick 5 points in a matter of seconds for St. Louis. Apo, strong on the drive. And the lead is 3.
Apo has really given them a lift in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
The hustle plays, the transition run out, and he's been a force on the defensive end as well. Chance of defense for this Baldwin Bear team. Active hands, 9 on the shot clock. Stone Kanoa into Posiulai, and the travel is called.
Louis Fuentes, you know, heard the cries of travel from the Baldwin bench. He told them, I got it,
He
I
said,
got it.
hold on a sec, I got it.
And, you know, by the way, this is his 3rd game of the day.
Yes,
And,
yes.
he's pulling a triple header.
As it is yours.
But, yeah, I'm not running up and down the court. And Louis, you know, he's a veteran guy.
Yeah.
He's been around the block. This is not his first rodeo,
That's,
for sure.
that's right, that's right. Doing a great job out here. And with 1 minute 40 seconds, St. Louis lead is 3, 27-24. Apo on the drive, but that time, that pivot foot moved.
Yeah, he got kind of caught in between ideas there. He thought he was going to go up for the shot, decided otherwise, but in the meantime, it was too late. His first foot had already taken that step.
1 minute 30 left to play. Drive baseline. The kick out. And that time, Posiulai with the footwork and the strong finish, which will give him an extra free throw with a chance to push this lead to 6 as we see Pa'ole check back into the game.
This is great to watch those battles underneath.
Yeah.
You look at,
Faleafine Ohai.
yeah, I mean, these guys are probably 240, 250 plus. But with great footwork.
Yes. And that's something we saw earlier with Moanalua. So lots of talented players that will battle out in their respective leagues. And as we see this steal and the foul, beautiful steal by Neumann on the anticipation, and he'll get 2 shots.
Well, what's great about it is you can tell just by the way they move their feet and handle the ball that these big guys they're not just football players who converted to basketball. These guys have been playing basketball for a while. You can tell.
Yes.
Just by their skill level. They just happen to grow into football-sized lineman types. Looks like there's some blood on the jersey.
That'll force the substitution. With 1:02 left, St. Louis up over the Baldwin Bears by 6. Anuha no good on the free throw. Ball is tipped around. And secured by Baldwin briefly. It goes right back to the Crusaders, and Ramos converts on the layup, pushing the lead to 8.
Yeah, Shing made a great shake and bake move, but he forgot the ball and left it in the backcourt.
And there's about a 13-second differential on this shot clock, so Bears will have 20 seconds to shoot it. St. Louis will get the ball back. I don't know if these Hawaii teams even think about the 2-for-1 shots, or some of the strategies that you see the NBA players and the college players use. But that time, Baldwin decided to run the shot clock out and got 2 free throws out of it.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Hale is too happy with that possession either. I mean, you play good defense again for 28 seconds, 29 seconds, and then you bail the guy out, off-balance shot, and you give him 2 free throws.
One of 2 for Kai Shing. Lead is 7 with 14 seconds remaining and counting. Nice look that time by Meredith. Into Nunuha.
Ball on the bench, number 21, Blake Ingram. At the line, shooting free throws for the Crusaders, number 23, Jordan Nunuha.
That was, like we mentioned, not just their skill level, but their court awareness.
Yep.
These are legit basketball players.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
They know the game. They're not just getting by with their size, which happens to be great, by the way.
Nunuha converts the second. Makes it an 8-point game, and that last second heave, no good. Our halftime score, St. Louis Crusaders 33, Baldwin Bears 25. And we'll be back after this short message. And we're back. Iolani Classic, presented by the Twin Fin. In our fourth game of the day, the St. Louis Crusaders lead the Baldwin Bears 33-25. Coming up next, we'll have Neumann Goretti, school out of Philadelphia, taking on Lake Oswego, the Lakers from Lake Oswego, Oregon. Famous alumni Kevin Love from that school. That game set to tip off at 3:30 p.m. What do you expect for that game?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to see those teams yet, but like you said, great traditional teams. Lake Oswego, I think this is their first appearance in this tournament, and it's always nice to see teams new. We haven't had many teams from Oregon over the years.
Right.
So always good to see.
We had one
teams from new regions.
For the girls' classic, which just wrapped up about a week ago.
Right.
South Medford.
South Medford, yes.
To South Medford, Oregon.
You mentioned Neumann Goretti. They've been here before.
Yes.
Philadelphia basketball, one of the great basketball cities in America. From their very first Iolani Classic, I think we had Roman Catholic. Yes. And of course, West Philadelphia was the first showcase team here. So we've had some great teams from that city.
Following that, at 5 o'clock, we'll have Mount Vernon out of Mount Vernon, New York, playing Mount St. Joseph's out of Baltimore, Maryland. That Mount Vernon Knights team went 24-0 last year and won the Class AA New York State Championship. So they had an undefeated season.
They've been to this classic several times as well. Always bring good teams. You mentioned, back to Neumann Goretti, we mentioned earlier, I think they're ranked number 10 in Max Preps.
That's right.
So obviously a very strong team this year.
Coach Semino for Mount Vernon picked up his 577th win to make him the all-time winningest coach in New York Class AA boys basketball. Following that, at 6:30, we have the host school, Iolani Raiders, taking on Mount Verde out of Florida, the #1 team in the nation.
Right, and good news for Iolani. Friday night, like I said, we saw them get a big scare. Their big center, 6'6" center, Moanalua went down with a knee injury early in the second period. Did not come back. He was on crutches. Couldn't really put pressure on that leg coming off the court. He had to be carried off. But the early reports were positive. It doesn't look like a serious knee injury. I doubt he'll be back for tonight's game, but for the long term, obviously not just for Ryan Hirata and the basketball program, but the baseball program as well. He's one of our key players for the baseball Raiders, which made a great run to the state tournament last year. So hopefully he can come back for the basketball season and will be healthy for baseball as well.
That is great news to hear.
Yeah, he's a multi-threat in baseball, playing left field, pitcher. I think he bats third or fourth, so key player for that program as well.
Another multi-sport athlete for the Iolani Raiders, Nella Taliauli, also excels in football.
Oh, yes. Tremendous wide receiver, playmaker. Had some Sports Center type plays throughout the season, starting with the opener at Kaiser. You can see the athleticism in the basketball court as well. And Iolani, like I said, they had a tough game against Radford on Friday. So it's kind of good to, even though they're playing another local team, to be tested and keep you on your toes. And like I said, it was 40-38 late in that game, and then before Aiden Wong hit a three-pointer and then came back with another basket to kind of stretch it and give them some breathing room. I think they ended up winning by 10. But that was a good opening night test for Iolani.
And then the nightcap at 8 o'clock, we'll see the Millennium Tigers out of Goodyear, Arizona, taking on the Milton Eagles out of Georgia. And after that game, we have the Alakai dunk contest and three-point contest, so you want to stick around for that.
Yeah, both of those teams, Millennium and Milton, talk about first-round tests against local teams. Millennium, I think, was down in the third quarter against Kamehameha. Had to come back for that victory. It was 41-41 entering the fourth. And then Milton had their hands full with Punahou, which had that game tied 52-52 with 4:44 left. Ended up winning by 7, but it was a 5-point game with a minute left. So Punahou definitely pushed them to the limits. And to their credit, Milton answered those challenges. But it was good for both of those teams to get a good first-round game in. And obviously great for Hawaii to show that they could compete with some of the nation's best programs. Mount St. Joseph's, by the way, we mentioned them. We mentioned Montverde and Neumann Goretti and their rankings. Mount St. Joseph was 27th in Max Prep's top 50 in the previous poll. So, yeah, we've got good representation in the rankings, national rankings, again this year, which is usually the case. We usually have at least 2 or 3 teams that are somewhere in that top 50.
Just about set to get underway for the second half of the St. Louis Crusaders versus the Baldwin Bears. Baldwin, after wrapping up this tournament, goes right into playing Camp School Maui on December 23rd. So we talked about the travel getting here. I mean, there's really no rest. They continue right on into their season. Paole, who is impressed, is leading the Baldwin Bears in scoring on the season with 17 points.
And you talk about Maui basketball. Last year the story of the season was Maui Prep, a school that a lot of us are not familiar with. Hadn't really been on the map, but shucks, last year they took the state by storm. Ended up winning the Division II state championship convincingly, and I believe all 5 starters were seniors. But sheesh, what a starting 5! I mean, they were Division II in name only. I mean, that team could have competed with anybody.
Talented.
All 5 players were, good height, probably 6 feet, between 6 feet and 6'3". They all could handle the ball. They all could run. They could jump. I think their assistant coach, who's also their athletic director, is also some kind of athletics trainer or physical certified trainer. So you look at those guys. I mean, they're well-conditioned athletes. They ran like a 6-7 man rotation, but they run up and down that floor at full speed. They could shoot. I mean, they could do everything. It was really a sight to watch them make that run through the state tournament.
Basketball alive and well on the island of Maui as we're just on the way for the second half. Crusaders have an 8-point lead. Pupu Sepulona is back in the game after sitting much of the first half with 2 fouls.
Baldwin basketball.
And I think, we talk about the preseason or, non-league play and the lessons learned. I think that's a lesson that St. Louis needs to learn as well. Is sometimes when you have a player like Sepulona or a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, the other 4 players tend to catch themselves watching, right, and just letting him do everything. But with him on the bench, this was a challenge for them to say, hey, we're not a one-man team. Everybody's got to contribute to this.
Great point, yeah. And so maybe by design by Coach Hill to give these other players some minutes, right, without Sepulona, who absolutely dominated with 27 points. I mean, in his own right. He dominated in his own right. As we go back the other way.
Great double pump move by Paoli. Yes. Again, we see the athleticism and skill level.
Yep. Crusaders look to isolate Sepulona, and then on the curl cut, baseline drive is cut off, but the reaching by Apo
Following the Bears, number 44, Trotter Apo.
Sends Nuha to the line for 2.
Team's first foul. At the line for the Crusaders, shooting free throws, number 23, Jordan Nuha.
Free throws good. Extend the lead to 7. Into the game, Keanu Meacham. Giovanni Ramos will sit. Both free throws good. Lead back up to 8. Torres Lieber. Ball swung to Apo, who's no good on the 3. Fight for the rebound, recovered. Sepulona up and advances it to Kanoa. Brings the lead back to 10. Great look that time. Finding Torres Lieber in the corner, unable to hit. Rebound, Fosu Ulai. Up ahead, no good by Meacham. And on the drive, Coach Tesoro looking for that call. There was contact, nothing called. Sepulona no good on the free throw line. Pull up and back the other way. Turnover right back to the Crusaders.
Checking in for the Bears, number 5, Rial Burton.
I couldn't help but notice on that last possession, Faleafine, Alwai got the rebound. He's 6'4". And you remember the saying, give it to a guard? So he gives it to Paole, who's 6'6". So you got a 6'4" guy getting the rebound, giving it to a 6'6" guy to bring the ball
But up until this point, they've disproved that theory, right? I mean, they've been leading the break and making great passes. Burton back into the game.
Paoli, like I said, 6'6", closing out on Sepulona, who ended up shooting an air ball. No doubt Paoli, 6'6", with his arms outstretched, affected that shot in a big way.
Score is 37-27 Crusaders. With 4 minutes and 34 seconds left to play in the third quarter.
Team's first foul.
After Baldwin clawed their way back in, St. Louis pushing the lead back up to 10. Helps to have Sepulona back in the game. He's a steadying presence, as you see. Ola on the drive.
Crusaders number 23, Jordan Nuha, team's second foul. At the line,
Meacham was there but called for the block as he somewhat leaned into Paole.
So speaking of these skilled big men, Ian, you played with a couple of them yourself. Kevin Scanlon was on our broadcast last game, and Meki Pei.
Yes.
How would you compare the skill level of those big guys to the skill level of these big guys?
Well, Meki, and so, I mean, Meki also played football, and he played football for the University of Washington.
Right.
But when he was younger as a sophomore, he was just, I mean, you could see the athleticism. So he was similar. And not as tall, but he was a big man with a soft touch and really guard skills. And Kevin Scanlon similarly showed the ability to shoot threes, although at the time we played, the three-point shot, even for the guards, wasn't as as used as it is now. So I think both myself and Kevin, we wish we played in this era, right? I know Kevin would love to lead the break and pull up for a three.
And Kevin was 6'6".
As a 6'6" player, yes. Went on to play for Willamette and the Bearcats and win a national championship with that team. Nine-point game. It's about 3 minutes left in this third quarter. Supolona on the top of the key drive and the hanging shot. His ability to control his body and the shot maker is what really impresses.
Exactly, especially for a guy his size. Body control.
Yes.
Incredible.
Apo on the drive, short on the shot. Out ahead to Ramos, who will slow it up and work some clock. Good patience shown. Trying to hold on to this 11-point lead. And on the great pass, Paole is there for the rejection, and back the other way. Inger with the lefty shot, no good. And the workaround to Murata in the corner, and that's long. Good looks, but
No, and good hustle by Murata, keeping that ball alive. Smallest guy on the court, but he was able to sneak in and get that save, rebound.
Coach Dan Hale will call timeout here.
So, Ian, I don't think I mentioned to you, but I started my coaching career just as an assistant for youth basketball, coaching 5th and 6th graders, now 7th and 8th graders. But that's what I tell them is rebounding is not about size. It's about heart and desire and effort.
Yes.
Size obviously helps.
Yep.
But Murata, as he showed right there, you know, like I said, smallest guy on the court, but look who got the rebound out of the 10 players. And that was all hustle. And a lot of times that's what gets you the rebound is that hustle.
And that's what we tell our players too. Did want to congratulate Jordan Wong and our boys intermediate basketball team. They did win the ILH in a great game over St. Louis this past Saturday. It was 8:30 in the morning. But the crowd, you know, for a morning crowd that early was fantastic, and just the play was amazing, back and forth, and luckily it was able to go our way. So yeah, congratulations to the Iolani boys basketball intermediate black team. But that idea of the guards have to rebound too, right? And those balls that go over, right, where the big men are, you know, engaging, but those balls that are at the free throw line or on the baseline, I mean, that's where those guard rebounds come into play. Ball into Sepulona, who got great inside position.
And that's another part of rebounding too. You know, with experience, you learn bounces, right? You can tell if the shot is short, where the ball's going to end up. A long rebound from a three-point shot.
Jordan Pasiula.
Basiulai, who's been a huge factor around the rim, pushes the lead up to 13 with 1:41 left in the third quarter.
For the Bears, number 20, Zyler
You can see when Sepalona's in the game, just the confidence level of St. Louis goes up tremendously. Again, you don't want to make it to the point where you rely on him so much, but at the same time, you feel much more confident with him there, knowing you have a guy who can definitely score the basketball, almost at will.
Yeah, and then we're starting to see that chemistry between Basiulai and Sepulona. Similar games. They like to finish around the rim, but they're getting a real good kind of feel for each other and finding each other under the basket.
5 second violation. Basketball.
Ball back to the Crusaders. Ramos attacking the pressure by Nakamura. And there's that high-low action again.
Oh, wow, that's a tough offensive player control foul called on Sepulona.
Crusaders, number 35, Pupu Sepulona, team's 4th foul.
And I don't know if it was because he lowered his shoulder. Usually that's the giveaway. If you lower your shoulder and initiate the contact, you're going to get that whistle. But that was a close, tough call.
That'll be Sepulona's third. And we immediately see Meredith set to check in. Great kick out. Paole shows a nice touch just inside the three-point line. Cut the lead to 11 with 43 seconds in this third quarter. Inside the entry, and there's that backdoor cut again. But this time unable to be secured, and we got the tie-up. Tie-up will remain with the Bears.
Checking into the game for the Crusaders, number 44, Adrian Meredith.
Meredith goes in for Basiulai. Ramos set to inbounds. Into Meacham with a nice drop step, but cannot convert. And the push ahead, no good on the shot, but look at the hustle by Nakamura. And the Baldwin contingent loves the hustle. Down 11. Nakamura giving the energy that Coach Tesoro loves to see.
Talk about Murata sneaking in for that rebound at 5'7". Nakamura is 5'4". He's even tinier, and he comes up with that rebound against Sepulona, who's 6'2".
To the delight of the Baldwin Bears bench. The St. Louis Crusader team making its 17th appearance in the Iolani Prep Classic. Coach Stan Hale played for that Punahou team. Another famous alumni of Punahou School that played on that.
Right, a guy they used to call Barry Obama. And, of course, Barry was a role player. He actually played on the Division II team as a junior. Got called up or played the Division I, and got a few minutes here and there, but definitely that team was loaded. not just with Dan Hale, but John Kamehameha, who ended up playing in the same backfield as Marcus Allen at USC.
Set play out of the timeout. Gets Apo. The three. Wow, as the time sounds and cuts the lead to 8 with momentum for the Baldwin Bears going into the fourth quarter.
Apo is the one again who he gave them a huge lift in the second period. Comes in and hits that big three right there again. Like you said, design play. Great execution. Also on that 1979 team, you have to mention the state player of the year or all-state guard that year was Darryl Gabriel.
Yes.
Went on to a great career at Santa Rosa Junior College and then Loyola Marymount. And then talk about guys who won a state title and coached a state title. Forgot to mention him. Well, he would be a fourth one. He actually coached University High to a state championship in 1988.
I want to say Brad Stewart.
Correct, yeah. Brad Stewart,
Williams.
James Williams, Walt Quitton, who's now the athletic director at University High. Bobby Milho. They won back-to-back championships. I think the first one was with Bobby Al, who was their longtime coach and won a state title for UH Lab back in '78 with Leroy Lutu and the Morales twins. With Darryl Gabriel, another great coach and player with state titles to his name.
As we return to play, Meredith a bit too unselfish there.
Yeah.
Tries the wraparound pass that goes out of bounds. And Cepolona checks right back into the game.
You want to teach the players to be unselfish, but also when they have a layup, take the layup.
Well,
It's hard to give up a layup and get a better layup.
Might not be a better look than what you have right there.
Yeah. There's giving up a good shot for a better shot, but it's hard to give up a layup for a better layup.
Yeah. But Coach Dan Hale acknowledges, that's a great idea, and the selfishness is kind of a nice thought, nice idea on the wraparound. Comes right back to St. Louis. Meacham pushes to Cepolona on the left side, which gets Cepolona isolated. And on the workaround, Baldwin holds the Crusaders and down to 6 seconds on the shot clock. The backdoor cut and the finish by Cepolona. Beautiful play that time and using every single second of that clock to pull the lead back to 10.
Great patience, great execution.
Paul out on the perimeter. The three, no good by Burton. And Cepolona on the rebound. Nice anticipation that time. Paole with the good hands.
Checking in for the Bears, number 10, Jaquan Torres-Lieber.
.6:16 left in this fourth quarter. St. Louis leads 43-33. My name is Ian Young. I'm here with Wes Nakama. Iolani Classic presented by the Twin Fin. Cepolona on the quick drive. extends the lead to 12. And right back goes Paole on a quick drive of his own. And the hanging shot reverse over the shoulder and gets fouled. That theme of impressive, agile moves by these big men on both teams.
Body control.
Yeah, and body control. Footwork, body control. We've seen a lot of great basketball as Paole completes the three-point play, bringing the lead to 9. Still a lot of time to play.
Yep, definitely striking distance.
Backdoor cut broken up by Paole. Ball will remain with the Crusaders. As we see Yarborough back into the game for a pull. And Nunuha checks in as well for the Crusaders. Entry pass in deep position and the kick out to Nunuha, who does a nice job of avoiding the contact and getting the shot up. Siulai around the horn. Sepulona. Shot clock winds to 11. And that'll be second foul for Paole. Only the third team foul for Baldwin. Posiolai to Sepulona, who is fouled on the drive. And deemed to be not in the foul occurred before the shot, so St. Louis and Ramos takes the ball out underneath. New 35 seconds on the shot clock. Crusader seems to be trying to take some time off of this one. Inger on the rebound ahead to Paole. And although there's contact, no foul called in the play. Back the other way. Still lots of time. I mean, these 4 minutes in this fourth quarter. Almost entry and the nice hands to retrieve that by Posiulai. These matchups, Posiulai versus Falafine Hawaii, Sepulona going up against Paole. Been fun to watch.
Milton's actually played pretty good defense in the last couple of possessions. They did get a couple touch fouls, but for the most part, they're sticking with their man, staying in front of the defender. As Faleafine Hawaii comes out, I don't think we've mentioned he's listed as a freshman. Faleafine Hawaii, don't let the beard fool you. And
Actually was not aware. I see, and yes. So these
he's 6'4",
talented
and
freshmen, a
grade,
6'4" freshman. And the nice feed and catch. Paole up high to grab that one and then converts, cutting the lead to 9 with 3 minutes and 37 seconds left in this game. Cepolona sticks with it. Ahead to Paole, and he's called for the charge. Posiulai able to get the position and take that charge. That's foul number 4 on Paole. Lead is 11 as we near the 3-minute mark. Ramos looking to create high-low entry, but before the shot, traveling violation is called. Torres Lieber to Apo, who's doubled and called for the traveling on the slip. Both teams have really battled today, and I think you're starting to see the fatigue because it really has been a battle. Baldwin falling back into a 2-3 zone. Results in the turnover. Torres Lieber to Burton in the corner, and that's no good. Apo on the 3. Off the mark. Crusaders okay to walk it up. Ramos will look to work it around, and a timeout called by Coach Dan Hale. Both teams, yeah, still coaching, still working, right?
Like you said, I think fatigue is starting to set in. You look at these guys walking to the bench. You know, the spring is gone from their step, both sides. It's been an intense game, like you said, on both sides. Tough battles underneath the basket and on the perimeter. These two teams look like they've been through a battle.
We talked about the prowess of these big men in transition and on the perimeter, but they're also battling inside. So they're leaning and they're pushing and they're battling. And so that's got to take its toll, right, when you're working against these big bodies.
Going back to Baldwin and that semifinal game from last year, you know, where they hung tough with St. Louis, lost only by 8 points. They played only 6 players in that game, and 3 of them are on the court or with us here tonight. Murata Yarborough and Paole. So, again, the experience gained by the rest of this team who didn't get to play in that game, you know, it's going to prove valuable down the road. Especially the freshman, Faleafine Alwai.
Yes. Valuable minutes and experience gained here. Going up against someone like Hupu Cebalona. The score is 13 as we reach the 1 minute mark.
That might have been the dagger.
Ramos with the recovery. 50 seconds. 24 on the shot clock. Corner three by Torres Lieber. Off the mark, shot clock is turned off. And that'll just about do it. Crusaders will run out the clock. Our final score here, as we near the buzzer, will be St. Louis Crusaders 51, Baldwin Bears 38.
St. Louis 51, Baldwin 38.
Well, I just talked about the valuable experience being gained by these Baldwin players. Even on the St. Louis side, only Posiulai and Sepulona were the only two players who played in that state semifinal game from a year ago. The rest of these Crusaders did not check in. So, again, valuable experience for both teams. And even with Posiulai and Sepulona in that semifinal game last year, Posiulai played 5 minutes, Pupu Sepulona played only 4 minutes. So very different roles,
yes.
Even for those the ones who did play and gained that state tournament experience last year.
We'll see this Crusader team again tomorrow at 9 a.m. St. Louis Crusaders will take on the Moanalua Mules. And Baldwin will play at 1:30 against the Punahou Buff and Blue. Wes, any final thoughts as we close out this game and near the evening games in the winners bracket?
I think all morning what we've seen and early afternoon is these consolation games are worth watching. I mean, if you have the time and are fortunate to make it down here, they're very entertaining games, very competitive games. I mean, it's called the consolation bracket, but when you watch these teams compete, you know, it's like they're still going after some kind of title. There's a lot of pride involved, and yeah, great effort and hustle on both sides. Every game so far.
Well said. Thank you so much, Wes. Again, the St. Louis Crusaders defeat the Baldwin Bears on behalf of the students, faculty, staff, and administration of Iolani School. Thank you for joining us tonight, or today, on YouTube. And of course, we'd like to thank our hardworking Iolani Live crew. Many people and many hours go into making all of this possible. So for all of them, this is Ian Young and Wes Nakama saying aloha.